The choices of the services that you have prioritized revenue service over the foreign service.
Yes, sir.
What's the reason for it?
But why did you take 4 attempts to crack civil services? Where did you go wrong?
Sir, for me, because I have actually, during my interactions, I interacted with mostly IAS people, and I believe that IAS people in later part of their career are given more policy making opportunities. That is why, personally, for me, IAS is the first priority.
So, Tushar, very good afternoon
Yes,
to
sir.
you.
Good afternoon, sir.
How are you?
I am fine, sir.
Okay, good. Where are you as of now?
Sir, I live in Delhi near Prithviar.
Okay. And you were in Mumbai also? IIT
Yes, sir.
Bombay?
Yes, for 4 years.
4 years. So you learned aircraft design there.
Yes, sir. My engineering was aerospace.
What made you to take up this subject in your bachelor's?
In my bachelor, uh, sir, I've always fascinated to become a pilot. But once I was growing up, I realized that I'm more inclined towards the physics, chemistry, and mathematics. So aerospace was you can say, a compromise between the pilot and my engineering dreams. Therefore, I went with a stream which provided me more closeness to the aircrafts and spacecrafts.
So I think you might have tried after your 12th through NDA or maybe to CDS also.
No, sir, I did not try in those areas.
So piloting was possible if you might have tried that
Yes, sir,
way.
you are right. Yes, sir, that I missed.
So you wanted to become a civil servant before your bachelor years, or after coming to this bachelor years of like 4 years, you realized that you can be a civil service aspirant.
So, to be honest, when I was in my college days, I used to think that after doing engineering, to become a civil servant would be to waste an engineering seat. But it was during my OLA's time period that I was gaining exposure to bureaucracy, because I was negotiating with government of Karnataka with respect to Ola Electric. So it was in that interaction that I felt that policy making and bureaucracy is also a good career opportunity, and I was motivated then.
So since school days, you were reading newspaper, or after coming to the graduation, you started reading newspaper?
Sir, I did not started reading newspaper even in graduation. It was towards the end of Ola Electric that I was into newspaper to understand the current happenings regarding the electric vehicle, and this habit continued during my preparation also.
Okay. I can see that your parents are into the education domain, right? The government
Yes, my
sector.
mother is a principal.
And father?
My father is assistant vice president in BSES, Delhi Bijli Board.
Okay. So he is also an engineer, if I am correct.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Tushar, how many siblings you have?
Sir, I'm actually a twin, so I have a twin sister.
Okay, that's great. And the choices of the services that you have prioritized revenue service over the foreign service.
Yes, sir.
What's the reason for it?
Sir, I also happen to have an optional in political science and international relations. So during my preparation of international relations, I understood that one of the best ways to improve countries' foreign policy and foreign outlook is to actually improve countries' domestic outlook. And therefore, the three areas: administration, law and order, and revenue, which I believe to be core of improving a country's domestic situation are above the IFS service option priority.
Do you know that many foreign service people are serving in India only? And I think 25% people are here in India. They are posted here in the various ministries, even in some of the states wherein they are serving some of the global projects. And
Yes,
some
sir,
of
I
the
am aware about
IAS, some of the IAS officers and other civil servants who are working in other country, frequently going also.
Yes, sir, I am aware about these facts.
Okay. And then I'm saying that many of the civil servants who need to serve in India are serving abroad, and foreign servants, foreign service people are working in India, and for most of the time in India, not going to the other country. Right. And then your answer was favoring the foreign service, right? But your choice had to be like on the second number or the first number if you were favoring international relation and the country can be developed using the international scenario. So why so?
Sir, what I mean to say that my studies of international relations have given me an outlook that in order to improve a country's foreign policy, a country's capabilities regarding its domestic sector needs to be improved. For instance, we China's foreign influence is growing because China's economy has grown and China is rapidly militarizing and modernizing its PLA forces. Therefore, in my opinion, improving countries' domestic situation regarding the economy provides fundamental resources to the country to improve its influence in foreign sectors. That is why my these three areas, the revenue, which is root of administration itself, and law and order situation, which creates situation to improve economy of our country, are given more priority than IFS service.
So did you ask your parents also that which service you should go for, or they had given you the liberty that whatever you want, son, you can do?
Sir, to be honest, there is a discussion in my family regarding my service preference, and given the fact that I am their son, so they wanted some at least some leeway in uh, discussing what services I should go for.
So what did they say?
Sir, it was not like they were against for going abroad, but they said that if you would be in India, it would be better for them to connect with me, and to have a because it's a joint family, so to have a more cordial family relations.
Yeah. So it is a natural reasoning. You are the only son.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
One of your hobby is studying chess.
Yes, sir.
So what have you studied in chess so far?
Sir, the chess is a game of strategy. So in openings, I have studied Italian openings. I'm learning Catalan opening right now, and from black side, I've studied Slav defense and Caro-Kann defense. In the middle games, these openings also teach us about middle game strategies. And in end games, I've studied rook end games and mating sequence, specifically mating with two bishops, mating with a bishop and a knight. So these are some areas where I have studied the theoretical aspects of game of chess.
Okay, that's good. So which country
Thank you.
is the origin point of the chess?
Sir, as per historical records, India and the Indian subcontinent is called as the origin of chess. Initially originated as Chaturanga.
Okay. So since beginning there were 64 squares in chess.
Yes, sir. Squares were 64, although the piece movement and number of pieces were different.
Okay, okay. And how many big battles have been settled using chess game that win and loss will result into winning the battle rather than massacre and all.
Sir, I believe there is no major battle that has been settled using chess. It is a form of it is a tool to sharpen one's mind, specifically in strategic thinking.
So marriage alliances was one of the things to settle the war, and maybe uh, one of the one of the factor that okay, let's play chess, or chess can be one of the uh, ways to settle the disputes. Okay, and in our epic document, do we have any of the glimpse or the role that chess has played in settling some of the big issue or in creating one of big issues?
Uh, are we talking about the legends that we have, epics like Mahabharata specifically?
Yeah.
So in Mahabharata, actually, it was not the game of chess, but it was a game. I don't exactly know, but because there was dices involved, so an element of chance was involved in that game. So that game
Yeah.
was played where Mama Shakuni used unfair dices to
Mm.
create problems for Pandav, which eventually led to Mahabharat.
Okay, so it was not actually Ludo, but it was some other game, right? And
Yes, sir. There
if we
were
go to the antecedents of chess, there is a similar game played by the villagers even today, right? Using some of the marker, making the lines on the uh, plain floor, and they play.
yes, sir. I've seen it, but never got an opportunity to actually view it from a more as a player's point of view.
So, how will you be able to use this hobby of yours in administration in some way or the other? That chess can one of the way to uh, to have good thing in administration.
Sir, in my opinion, chess teaches a lot that can be carried over to administration. One of the fact that in chess the king is quite a weak player, but still the most important player, is directly translated into administration. Because if we see that the future of India is the children of India, and they are one of the weakest segments of the society because they are unable to take decisions on their own. So,
Mhm.
but still they are the most important. So this aspect teaches us that even if there needs to be sacrifices done to create more safe conditions for the king of India, that is the children, so we should do it. Other aspects of chess that could be directly translated into administration is that chess provides an opportunity for critical reasoning and developing strategies. These skills that we learn can be used in administration to reason out details, have an objective view towards the position or towards the ground reality, and develop a game plan, that is a strategy, in order to achieve one's objective given the ground reality.
You are right, but I can recall that Vishwanathan Anand, right? Even the government was also instrumental in bringing him and connecting many of the children. Not only the indoor sport is improved upon, and can be a good showcase of India at the global level. So at least for the department people, okay. So the association is there, family association, and many of the children can get benefit. And like if you will be in service, it is easy for you to arrange a premise, small premise, and having Sunday events get together. And
Yes, sir.
yes, it will be. And in the garb of sport, you can also know about their education level and other problems they may have.
Sure, sir.
Right. So that was one of the things that I wanted to hear. Anyway,
Okay.
and Tushar, my last question: that what is the meaning of your name?
So the meaning of my name is dewdrop, that is Oski boon.
Host.
Oh, dewdrop in Hindi it is called Oski boon, the
Okay.
uh, drops of mist.
So, like, if in real life I need to translate it into a meaning, like some characteristics, in your personality. In some way, it manifests. So, can you elaborate a bit more about it?
Yes, yes, sir. Because dewdrops are usually found in parks, in open spaces, and specifically in the morning times, and they represent to me freshness. So if my personality looks fresh to you, looks freshening to you, then I think I'm living up to the standards of my name.
That's good. But I can
Thank you.
recall one of the question of my school days time in science. That why morning droplet sparkle a lot? What is the reason?
Yes, sir. So the internal reflections within the drop causes it to sparkle.
What is the formula of that critical angle of PIR?
Sir, I'm sorry, I'm unable to recall the total internal reflection formula.
Just look at this. Anyway,
Sure, sir.
good Tushar. Over to you, Saurabh sir.
Hello, Tushar. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Doing good.
First of all, I must congratulate you for reaching up to this point, up to interview level.
Thank you, sir.
And
It was a hard journey.
yeah, I can see that this is your fifth attempt, right?
This is my fourth attempt, fifth year. I
Okay,
dropped 1 year in between.
okay. But you have a very good academic record that I can see. You have scored 9.6, then you have scored 8.2, and then you have also scored very good in your engineering as well. So I
Thank you,
think
sir.
you cracked your IIT Bombay in your first attempt only, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so from where did you have your coaching for IIT Bombay?
Sir, I did my coaching from East Delhi Fitji Center.
Okay, so yeah, I can see that you are a tremendous, a very good, brilliant student from the start. But why did you take four attempts to crack civil services? Where did you go wrong?
Sir, now because I think I understood how mains work, so I can state with high confidence that, in my opinion, my content was okay in previous attempts. However, my answer writing style and the way I presented this content on paper was not okay. So, in my this attempt, I developed a lot of skills about how one can answer, how one can structure the answer and present it such that the content is visible more holistically and tries to capture every aspect of the question that was asked.
Okay, great. So you have a good family background also, and didn't you find any time while your preparations time that your parents were telling you that why are you going towards civil services and that is a government job which is less paying, and why don't you go for some other, like you could have gone out of the country also and earned a very good package being from IIT and that too good academic background.
Yes, sir, I did have opportunities to go abroad, but I decided that it would be better that I stay in India. One reason we were discussing before was that because it's a joint family, so my parents also wanted to have a relationship with me. Other factors was that in general I feel that it would be better for me to serve country by staying in the country. It's not that I don't want to go abroad, but a priority, if you ask, a personal preference is that I would like to stay in India.
There is a book. Its name is Satranj Ke Khiladi. Have you heard of this book?
Sir, I've seen a movie which was based upon this book, Shatranj Ke Khiladi.
On what historical background it is based? Can you elaborate something about it?
Uh, Sir, not sure really, but it was based upon two Nawabs fighting over chessboard and also narrating using the chess the historical events of that time.
Okay, so Tushar, I think that mark my word, this question would be asked because this is a very famous historical event and this is a truth and this is not only a fiction. The book was written by Munshi Premchand. That I'll tell you about it later on. Okay,
Sure,
my
sir.
next question would be that why Magnus Carlsen is called as one of the greatest chess player till now. So why not why can't we call that Viswanathan Anand is the greatest player and why Magnus Carlsen is called as greatest player? What is the difference or what is the reason?
Sir, in my opinion, there are two main reasons why we call Magnus Carlsen the greatest player. One is that if you see the current highest rated player in classical chess, it is Magnus Carlsen with a rating of 2880 plus. So this is the highest ever rating that he has achieved. And the second reason why we call Magnus Carlsen as the greatest chess player, in fact of all times, is because his endgame skills are exceptional. He can sometimes even win out of thin air when the position is very equal and symmetric. So this is ability of his is really considered exceptional by in a lot of other grandmasters, including Vishwanathan Anand. That is why Magnus Carlsen is said as greatest chess player of all time.
But he is already defeated by a 19-year-old boy, Praggnanandhaa. So don't you think that Praggnanandhaa is a better player than Magnus Carlsen?
So I would like to differ upon this opinion. In my opinion, the game that we are talking about, Praggnanandhaa and versus Magnus Carlsen, that was a blitz game where the timings matter a lot. So in 3 minutes game, the chances of blundering increases, and Magnus Carlsen actually blundered his knight, which Praggnanandhaa happily took and then went on to defeat Magnus Carlsen.
Okay, great, great. So you have mentioned that you have participated in swimmathon also, right?
Yes, sir.
So why India is not doing good in swimming competitions on international levels? What can be the reason?
So can I think just a second to structure up
Yeah,
my
sure,
thoughts?
sure, sure,
Thank
sure.
you, sir.
Okay. So, Tushar, some of the last question that we have.
Sir, Tushar is about to answer questions right now.
Oh,
He
sorry.
took time to think about the
Sorry.
question. Right.
Sorry, Tushar. I'm
Uh,
so sorry.
no issues, sir. Can I answer?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Sir, in my opinion, there are three main reasons why Indian swimming level is not up to the international standards. One is swimming is a sport where you require a facility to learn how to swim. So, given the fact that India's uh, facilities with regards to swimming pools is not up to the mark, so players do not get opportunity to train in good conditions. Second is lack of coaches, because we currently, this is a cyclic problem, because we currently have low swimming players, less players who are more inclined towards swimming. Therefore, best players from these go on to become coaches, which obviously is number of coaches is limited because the number of players is also limited. And third, I think is a problem. Third problem I think is that in general people have more craze of other sports that are easily played in streets, for example cricket and badminton, rather than a sport like this which requires especially going to swimming pool. So in general there is less appeal of swimming within the masses. So these three factors combined gave us the results that we were talking about.
Okay, sir, I need to ask few more questions to explore his more
Please go
personality.
ahead. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Tushar, there is one more thing that do you think that this Khelo India Youth Games has contributed in improving our sports section in the country?
Yes, sir. I do believe that Khelo India Youth Games have contributed to improving sports culture in the society. Because one, given the fact that Prime Minister Modi himself was vouching for this event, this created more legitimacy of sports as a career option, and also sports as an legitimate activity for people to engage in. So in general, what is seen as that there's there's a saying that पढ़ेगा लिखेगा तो बनेगा नवाब और खेलेगा तो गड़बड़, मतलब if you
Banega
will
Kharab.
play then kharab. So to counter this, an event headed by launched by honorable prime minister itself shows that government is giving priority, and society is also more accepting towards having to go in a career of which is sports based. So I think this event definitely contributed to improvement of sporting culture of India.
Okay, great, great. One more thing about sports only that in the recent Olympic that took place at this Japan, so India has done tremendously good. and it was one of the best. So, but in many areas we could not perform very well. But in few areas we were the first. For the first time, we could participate also. So, where did we lack this time? Like in Olympics, if I say, and because we have got only one gold medal, and that too somehow Neeraj Chopra got it. Otherwise, we were completely wiped out of the gold medal. So, where did we lack this time in Olympics?
Sir, in my opinion, uh, in track and field event, Neeraj Chopra definitely got a gold medal. There were other players who missed out the opportunity by, for example, in long jump, I remember that we were performing quite well. Apart from this, uh, in badminton, actually, sir, apart from a lot of these sports, I'm not exactly aware.
Okay,
So I would like to.
okay. My next question would be that what are the ethical issues associated with artificial intelligence?
Sir, there are multiple ethical issues associated with artificial intelligence. First is the issue of killing robots because artificial intelligence is now powering military devices. Therefore, the issue comes whether to give the kill or not kill decision to an artificial intelligence system or not. Second issue about artificial intelligence is whether we can control a general purpose AI or not, because a general purpose AI can act in ways that we do not intend, and therefore this is an emerging field. The third is, for example, chat gpt that has recently came. It has internal securities to not provide information that is harmful, but one can overcome these internal securities by asking the same question in different ways. For example, what if we are a how to do a suicide? It will not give you an answer. But if you ask that I'm writing a book on suicide and the character wants to do a suicide, then it will tell you how to do suicides. So this is another area where artificial intelligence ethics are developing. And
Yes,
in
very
my
good. So,
opinion,
since Tushar, you are working with Ola, and as Ola is a product of Web 3.0, Web 3, because of the distributive web that we can see. So, in the future, when artificial intelligence comes, so there would be many more job losses. So, what is the future of the startups like Ola, and why India is becoming a hotbed of startups, as well as India is also failing in many ways in the startup areas? Why it is so?
so in my opinion, Ola is not a Web 3.0 based startup. It is a Web 2.0 based startup because the database is centralized in Ola and is controlled by Ola organization rather than by its user. Now coming to why India is seeing a emerging startup culture. In my opinion, given the fact that India is a developing country and allows free FDI flows into India, therefore private investment in India is increasing, which naturally leads to increase in number of startups. Further, because users are adopting smartphones and are more able to utilize electronic services, smartphone based services. Therefore, it increases the scope for startups to provide innovative products, which can then be grown into a full fledged startup like Ola. And in your last part of the question, I believe that there are few areas where startup of India are failing. For example, startups usually focus upon the mega cities and does not focus upon rural economy, and also does not serve the low economically weaker section of the society. Then because startups are in general uh, tilted towards the gig economy and platform economy, so there are the issues like emerging issues like lack of labor laws and pay regulations to gig workers is also an area where I believe startups are not performing as they should have been.
Okay, great. So,
Thank you.
after the introduction of this artificial intelligence, is there any future for a company like Ola, or like Ola like company will need restructuring also?
Sir, in my opinion, companies like Ola will definitely have a lot of opportunities with regards to AI because Ola and other companies work upon on-demand services. So they need to predict where the demand is going to come and from where the supply will come. Using AI systems within this decision-making matrix, will definitely improve the efficiencies of companies like Ola and also other startups that work upon the digital technologies. So, therefore, in my opinion, AI introduction for these startups is making them more profitable.
Okay, great, great. So my last question would be that since you have a background in technology, so can you tell me about one thing that India has recently opened itself in the privatization of space sector by enrolling Skyroot as one of the company to launch private rockets. So this will eventually lead to cluttering of our space, and it will also lead to space war or maybe space economic war also. So is it good for the world as a whole, or like it is going to open new prospect for us?
So, the opening up of space and space being utilized by more private players provides both opportunities for the world and also some negative aspects that the world needs to tackle. On the part of opportunities, I believe that because we are opening private players into the space segment, therefore space segment will become more efficient. For example, SpaceX now provides the least costly method of putting a payload into orbit because it has
So I
developed a
interrupt you.
reusable
If
technology.
ISRO was already present in this sector, so why there was a need of private player?
Sir, ISRO usually focuses upon bigger satellites. Recently, only it has introduced a small satellite launch vehicle, and because other PSLV and GSLV has a very strict schedule of launching, therefore on-demand services for other kind of satellites may not be fully covered by ISRO. Finally, I believe that ISRO is a research organization and can and should actually look towards
Yes, very
broadening
good.
the
Thank you, Tushar.
frontiers.
Over to Nitin sir now.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So Tushar's last two questions before we wind up. See,
Sure, sir.
uh, this studying chess has become a kind of hotbed for you, right? PSIR you had and the chess. If I connect both of them together in our Indian Constitution, do we have something that connect this chess to Indian Constitution? Any articles or articles?
That connects chess and Indian Constitution. Sir, I do not believe that there is a explicit relation between chess and
Yeah,
Indian Constitution,
implicit, I'm saying.
but implicit because Indian Constitution also tries to provide openness, which is a core feature of democracy. I think in this respect, chess is also a very open game because both players can see the position at the board, and it is open for everyone to observe and
So
play.
any of the particular article.
I'm sorry, sir, I'm unable to recall any
So
particular
for
article.
example, Article 19(1)(a) to express yourself to sports and through any of the manifestation. Number one. Then number two is the fundamental duties, wherein scientific temperament and inquiry. Okay, the scientific
Yes,
word
sir.
is there. Okay, and then in DPSP also we have things like Article 47, and even the education in the education also it is to be included. So for example, Article 46 is there, Article 45, Article 21A. Implicitly chess is also an education, okay, integrated one. You may mention these articles, begin with Article 19(1)(a), DPSP, Article 45, Article 21A, and fundamental duty, right?
Sure, sir. Thank you for the information.
And that is why the funding at all for the sports is there using these articles. Supreme Court is also using these articles in in countering that the sports funding should not be given. So court has said no, 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 it should be given. Children's development is something which is very important. Okay.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Another question, the last question. Do you know something about delegated legislation and any of the current news with respect to delegated legislation?
Sir, I am aware about the concept of delegated legislation. With regards to any current happenings, I'm sorry, I'm not aware about a current happening with respect to delegated legislation.
So the court heard the case regarding demonetization, how RBI did this, and the nation was not knowing, no one was knowing how did it happen, under which section of RBI or under what ruling that government did this, and earlier also when such thing happened. So you can see the subordinated legislation and delegated legislation concept. This is one of the concept. Then in PSIR, if I talk about the scholars, which scholar fascinate you the most?
Indian or any scholar, sir?
Any scholar in general.
Sir, I would go with Machiavelli and Kautilya.
Okay, what is the difference between these two?
So these two have convergent viewpoints, but they also diverge upon multiple aspects. The timing and area where they lived are definitely different. Kautilya lived in ancient India, whereas Machiavelli lived in medieval Italy. The other aspect is that Kautilya is more practical and more detailed when it comes to recommendations to uh, ch- uh, uh, giving recommendations to the Raja, whereas in the Prince, Machiavelli was more general with respect to giving recommendations to the Prince. And finally, Kautilya is quite explicit about, for example, you can also find how to make poisons in Arthashastra, whereas Machiavellian advices are more broad and more general in nature.
Okay, so if I say that Kautilya is to be connected with any of the philosophy like Jainism and Buddhism, okay, so quickly, it should be connected to Buddhism more or to Jainism more, Kautilya?
So, Kautilya belongs to Hindu school of thought in ancient India, which is different from both Jaini school of thought and Buddhist school of thought.
But in its meaning, if I need to connect,
So,
whatever Kautilya told is somewhat similar to Kautilya or to Chanakya, sorry, to Buddhism or to Jainism.
sir, I believe Buddhism is nearly an exact opposite of
So middle
Kautilya.
path.
So Jainism would be.
Middle
Yes,
path. So thank you, Tushar. We will be sending you another
Thank you,
link
sir.
for feedback, and this link will be ending. You may leave the meeting. In a minute, we will be reverting back. Tushar,
Yes, sir.
when is your real interview?
6th March, sir.
6th. Okay. So around less than 15 days left.
Yes, sir.
So what do you think? How was your performance in this mock?
Sir, I think my delivery of answers and delivery of responses was decent, but there are some aspects where I need to develop my content a bit more. For example, I was unable to answer the Olympic question and Olympic swimming question, these related concepts.
Good, good, good. Any other thing?
Sir, I also believe that connecting chess with administration and connecting chess with the Indian Constitution is an area where I should be more thorough.
Okay. So see, every mock is different and every day is different. But irrespective of this, I find you a very decent, good candidate, promising candidate. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
And you have come a long way. This is your 4th attempt. In between, you dropped, like you had a gap of 1 year. But then starting was not that energetic or was quite academic in nature. But then in middle, it was really very good, and last was also very good.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. So one of the thing that, like, why IFS below IRS, the choice. Okay. So I don't know. See, this interview is not about knowledge. It's personality test. If you're not honest, okay, and legitimately honest, I will say, then they will understand it. So if they ask that why IAS, every candidate, one want to become an IAS. Even if they become an IPS, then वो IAS ही चाहिए. Then some of the people उनको IFS चाहिए as first choice. Some people want IPS and very rarely IRS also as first choice. And if they ask that why IAS, why? So then also, if you are running away from the reality, then it is not well taken.
Okay, sir.
Okay, if you are not sitting in interview, you are sitting in home, and we are one of the family members. Okay, and there is no fear, and there is a friend meeting, gossiping is going on. What is the real answer? That why one want to become an IAS?
Sir, for me, because I have actually, during my interactions, I interacted with mostly IAS people, and I believe that IAS people in later part of their career are given more policy making opportunities. That is why, personally, for me, IAS is the first priority.
Yes, this is one thing, but manifestation of it in different sense, that the way this service has come up, the kind of unparalleled exposure, different exposures, terms and conditions, the promotional aspects are better, okay, in this service particularly. That is why becoming a civil servant, in fact, it is kind of a statusful thing. It fetch lots of recognition in society, in family, everywhere. But in that, if IAS is given variety of exposure, the unparalleled terms and conditions are there. That is why I just came to the fallout, the result of this service till date. Among the service, this service is better. So this is one of the aspect, but then different exposure, learning new things is possible if you are into IAS in comparison to other services. And this is something personal also, sir. If there were choice, UPSC has given us the leeway to have the preferences. That is why we put it. In defense, in last, you may say this.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Then also IFS, why IFS? You are twins. You are the only son. Means not the only son, but
Only son, sir.
only son, but your sister is also there.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how
But
it is. No, I'm not
I'm
having
sorry to
gender
interrupt.
bias that the girl is not equal to the boy that way in caring the parents, for caring the parents. But I'm saying that, see, when the family is consulting each other, the opinion is also there of the parents. Not they are pressurizing you to take it up, but this is also one of the fact. And there is no harm in sharing as one of the factors. That this is also the reason, sir, because I am uh, having one sister and we are twin, and there was only one point from my parents' side that if possible, then if it is so that I am within the country, I'll be able to look after them more. And if I am getting foreign service also, if I am having foreign posting also, after their retirement, I will like to take them with me because it is part and parcel of the service. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So service is service, everything and anything for service in last. But when the choices are there, as a student, yes. So you had the right to make it. And then
Sure, sir.
yes, so I had to say about this, and then many more questions from PSIR may be there, and then Munshi Premchand sir has asked. It was very good question, in fact, and all the current development with respect to the chess and your technical knowledge of aircraft design and all. There may be another science and tech area which may be there to grill you more. Okay.
Sure, sir.
So this is what is the case. But anyway, this is from my side. Saurabh sir, you please give your feedback.
Thank you, sir.
Hello, Tushar.
Hello, sir.
So, few points from my side. First thing I noticed that you have very unique hobbies, and one was chess, the other one was swimming also. So obviously questions will be asked from this side, because if something is unique, it obviously grabs the attention of the examiner or the interviewer. So it will grab the attention and they will frame questions on this, and you need to thoroughly prepare these two aspects. So first
Sure.
prepare everything about the chess and prepare everything about the swimming also, because we have participated in swimathon, right? And these two things I have found. And the third thing is that you are very knowledgeable person that I have found, and your academic background is very good. But at the same time, whenever you are going for interview, the commission always looks out for that person who is very energetic, as well as who is every time willing to work very hard. So, like when you are speaking, so I don't find energy in the voice. So, I hope you understand. So
Okay, sir.
that energy in the voice should be there, right?
Okay.
So these are the only few areas that I wanted to tell you, and I think that you are a promising candidate. You will surely make it. Thank you.
Sure, sir.
So anything that you want to ask, Tushar?
Uh, Sir, it's not related to this interview, but uh, for example, if a panelist asked me a question and I was unable to answer it, but after few other questions I recalled what the panelist was asking. So, is there a possibility that I could answer the lost opportunity, or then I have to take it as a damage and go ahead with the interview?
See, this is an art, and one candidate may use artistic thing. So if the panelist is same, it is easier to say this. If the panelist and the member is different, it is somewhat little hard, and you have to reproduce the content answer in another question, and you may hint that to the previous question that other panelists might have asked. So
Okay.
yeah, but it should not happen again and again for every, or you can say 2-3 question, because otherwise they will have idea that this candidate has tendency to recollect things in little more time. So thinking of in
Okay.
time is also something very important.
Sure, sir.
And you may say politely that, sir, I'm not able to recollect in time, but maybe I'll be able to recollect it soon.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, so
Thank you.
that's how it is. So, but if you find some of the allied question from the other panelist, then you may say and you may hint also that this was the question, seeing the other panelist too, meanwhile. Okay,
Sure, sir. Okay.
that's the case. And I think you have done well and you will get good marks. If your performance
Thank
at
you,
main
sir.
level is good and the day is also good for interview day, then definitely I think you should make it to the list. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
And please do let us know any of the additional questions that you may have regarding your current affairs thing and graduation, right? And do let us
Sure,
know
sir.
the performance that you have given on the real interview day. After your
Sure, sir.
interview day,
Definitely.
please do let us know.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
really, all the
Thank you,
very
sir.
best. As of now,
Thank you.
take care of your health the most. Okay. And last minute
Thank you, sir.
information is also very important on the day when you appear for the real interview. Try to read the newspaper or just try to collect the information by listening to the news like All India Radio News on radio or DD
Okay,
News.
sir.
Yeah. So all the
Thank
very
you.
best from our side, Tushar.
Thank you, sir.
Best
Thank
of
you.
luck, Tushar.
Thank you, sir.